In this video, we will work on solving systems of equations by elimination using multiplication. First, let's review the steps to solve a system of equations with eliminations. First, line up the like terms vertically. Equal signs should be lined up as well. If the x or y terms are opposites, then add the equations together. If the terms are not opposites, multiply one or both equations by a number so that there are opposites, and then add the equations together. You should have as a result one equation and one variable. So you can solve for the variable. Substitute into one of the original equations to find the other variable, and finally write your answer as an ordered pair. Our example gives us the system negative 10x plus 2y equals 24 and negative x plus 6y equals 14. If I want to solve the system, you can choose to go about it a number of different ways. If I wanted to make the x terms cancel out, I notice that if I multiply the bottom equation by negative 10, it'll give me, so my original equation will stay as negative 10x plus 2y equals 24. And if I multiply everything in that second equation by negative 10, I'll have positive 10x minus 60y equals negative 140. Now if I add those two equations together, negative 10x plus 10x gives me 0x. 2y minus 60y is negative 58y. And 24 minus 140 gives me negative 116. Now that 0x cancels out and I don't have to write it. So my equation is really negative 58y equals negative 116. To solve for y, I would divide both sides by negative 58 to get y equals 2. Now I can plug that back into one of the original equations. So if I plug into the first equation, I have negative 10x plus 2 times 2 equals 24. If I solve that equation, I'll have negative 10x plus 4 equals 24. Subtract 4 from both sides to get negative 10x equals 20, and divide both sides by negative 10 to get x equals negative 2. So the solution to this system is negative 2, 2. Our next example gives us the system 4x plus 2y equals 6 and 10x minus 10y equals 0. If I want to make the y terms cancel out, I can multiply the first equation by 5. So if I multiply every term by 5, I'll get 20x plus 10y equals 30. My second equation will stay the same. So I'll have 10x minus 10y equals 0. Now if I add the two equations together, I'll get 30x, 10y minus 10y gives me plus 0y equals 30. And remember that 0y cancels out. So my equation becomes 30x equals 30. To solve for x, I divide both sides by 30 to get x is equal to 1. Now I can plug that into one of the original equations. If I plug into the first equation, I'll have 4 times the value of x, which is 1, plus 2y equals 6. If I solve, I'll have 4 plus 2y equals 6. Subtract 4 from both sides to get 2y equals 2, and divide both sides by 2 to get y is equal to 1. So the solution to this system is 1, 1. In our last example, we have the two equations, 2x minus 5y equals 8, and negative 5x plus 15y equals negative 25. If I want to make the y terms cancel out, I can multiply everything in the first equation by 3. So if I multiply everything in that equation by 3, I'll get 6x minus 15y equals 24. My second equation stays as negative 5x plus 15y equals negative 25. Now if I add those two equations together, 6x minus 5x will give me 1x plus negative 15 plus 15 will give me 0y, and 24 minus 25 would give me negative 1. And again, that 0y cancels out. So this gives me x equals negative 1. Now I can take that value of negative 1 and plug it into one of the original equations. So if I plug it into the first equation, I'll get 2 times negative 1 minus 5y equals 8. If I solve, I'll have negative 2 minus 5y equals 8. Add 2 to both sides to get negative 5y equals 10. And divide both sides by negative 5 to get y equals negative 2. So the solution to this system is negative 1, negative 2.